The sound cuts through everything. Vin Diesel stops mid-stride in the hallway of his own restaurant, and for a moment the world narrows to that single noise. Someone is crying, not the frustrated tears of a server who got stiffed on a tip or dealt with a difficult customer. This is different. This is the sound of breaking, of being pushed past a limit no one should have to reach. He stands there in his hoodie and jeans, anonymous by design, just another face in the crowd. That's the whole point of these visits. Every few months, Vin makes it a habit to walk into Torx as nobody special. No announcement, no fanfare, just a regular customer looking for a meal. Because he learned long ago that spreadsheets and profit margins don't tell you the real story. The truth lives in the back kitchens, in the break room conversations, in the exhausted eyes of people after a 12-hour shift. Through the crack in the break room door, he catches a glimpse of her. A young woman, head bowed, fingers gripping the edge of a metal counter like it's the only thing keeping her upright. Beside her stands a young man in the Torx uniform, speaking in hushed, urgent tones that Vin can barely make out. His first instinct is to walk over to ask if she's okay. But right now, he's not Vin Diesel, restaurant owner. He's just another customer, a stranger who has no business inserting himself into what might look like a private moment. So instead, he listens. The young man's voice rises just slightly. "You can't let him. He doesn't own you." The woman responds, her voice so quiet Vin almost misses it. "What choice do I have? He made it clear. If I don't do what he says, I'm gone." Vin's hand curls into a fist at his side. This isn't about a difficult customer. This is about someone inside the restaurant, someone with power over her. He steps back into the main dining room, letting the Friday night energy wash over him. The place is buzzing. Servers weave between tables with trays of sizzling steaks and craft cocktails. The scent of garlic butter and grilled ribeye hangs in the air. Ambient lighting casts a warm, golden glow over couples, friends, and solo diners enjoying their meals. At first glance, everything looks perfect. But Vin has spent enough time in this industry to know that appearances are often just a carefully maintained illusion. His eyes scan the room and land on the manager. Tall, rigid, dressed in a navy blue shirt that's pressed to within an inch of its life. The man stands at the edge of the dining floor with his arms crossed, watching everything with the kind of intensity that makes people uncomfortable. He's not just observing, he's controlling. There's something about his posture, about the way his eyes track the servers as they move, that makes Vin's instincts flare. Vin moves toward the bar and takes a seat on one of the stools. He keeps his face neutral, his body language relaxed, but his mind is working overtime. The crying, the fear in that woman's voice, the way the manager stands like a prison guard watching his inmates. Something is very wrong here. The bartender approaches with a polite smile. "Hey, what can I get you?" Vin orders water and the bartender nods before moving down the bar. But Vin isn't focused on drinks. He's watching the young man from the break room as he steps back onto the floor. The kid's jaw is tight, his hands fidgeting with the notepad tucked into his apron. He looks rattled. Vin sees his opportunity. He stands up casually and makes his way toward the server station near the back of the restaurant, where the young man is organizing plates and silverware. "Hey man," Vin says, keeping his voice easy. "Got a pen?" The young man looks up, startled, then relaxes slightly. "Oh yeah, sure." He pulls one from the counter and hands it over. Vin takes it but doesn't walk away. He glances at the employee's name tag, Tyler. "Hey Tyler," Vin says, lowering his voice just enough. "I couldn't help but notice your friend seems upset." Tyler stiffens immediately. His grip on the stack of plates tightens and his eyes dart toward the floor. "She's fine." "She doesn't look fine." Tyler swallows hard. His eyes flick toward the manager in the navy blue shirt, then back down. It's a reaction Vin has seen before. Fear. The kind that comes from knowing you're not safe, even in a place where you spend most of your waking hours. After a long pause, Tyler exhales. She's not fine, he admits, his voice barely above a whisper. Vin studies the kid's face, reading the tension in his jaw, the way his fingers keep gripping and releasing the notepad at his waist. Tyler wants to talk. He just doesn't know if he can. Is it a customer issue? Vin asks. Tyler hesitates, and that pause tells Vin everything. No, he finally says. It's not. His eyes flick toward the front of the restaurant, toward the manager who's still standing near the hostess station, watching the room like he owns it. Tyler exhales sharply, glancing back toward the break room before shaking his head. It's her personal business. It's a lie, but not because Tyler is trying to protect the manager. It's because he's afraid. Vin has seen this before. Employees stuck in bad situations, unable to walk away because of financial pressure, personal struggles, or worse, fear of retaliation. How long has she been working here? Vin asks, keeping his tone light. Tyler responds automatically, a little over a year, then he tenses. Why? Vin shrugs, keeping his posture relaxed, just wondering if she likes it here. Tyler lets out a short, humorless chuckle. She doesn't, but she can't afford to leave. And there it is, the real problem. She's not just stressed or overworked, she's trapped. Before Vin can ask anything else, Tyler stiffens. Vin doesn't need to turn around to know why. The air shifts, thick with something unspoken. The manager is walking toward them. Everything okay over here? The manager's voice is smooth, polite even, but there's an edge underneath. Tyler immediately drops his gaze, busying himself with the plates in front of him. Yes, sir, he says quickly. Just helping a customer. Vin turns and faces the man for the first time up close. Mid-40s, crisp shirt, neatly combed hair, the kind of sharp features that have seen too much and cared too little. The name tag on his shirt reads Rick Calloway. Can I help you with something? Calloway asks, his tone polite but firm. Vin smiles casually. Just getting a pen. Tyler here was kind enough to help me out. Calloway doesn't break eye contact. Good, he says, clapping Tyler on the shoulder a little too firmly. Let's stay focused on work. Tyler nods quickly, his eyes locked on the plates. Yes, sir. Vin clenches his jaw but doesn't react. Not yet. He thanks Tyler and steps away, feeling Calloway's eyes on him the entire time. His mind is already made up. He's not leaving, not until he figures out exactly what's happening in this restaurant. He steps outside for a moment, letting the cool night air hit his face. From where he stands, it probably looks like he's just checking his phone. In reality, he's thinking hard. Something isn't adding up. The woman in the break room, Emily, is terrified. Tyler is hesitant. And Calloway has the look of someone who thrives on control. Vin has dealt with plenty of bad managers before, but this is different. This is calculated. If he wants real answers, he needs to talk to someone who isn't afraid. And then, as if the universe is working in his favor, Nate, the bartender from earlier, steps outside. The kid leans against the side of the building, scrolling through his phone, probably on a break. Vin sees his opening. He walks up casually, hands in his pockets. Long night. Nate looks up, startled, then relaxes when he recognizes him. Yeah, he says. Fridays are always nuts. Vin nods, leaning against the wall beside him. Mind if I ask you something? Nate hesitates but shrugs, sure. Your manager, Calloway, what's he like? Nate's expression darkens. It's quick, just a flicker, but Vin catches it. He's, strict, Nate says carefully. Likes things done a certain way. That normal for managers. Nate exhales, looking around as if checking for eavesdroppers. Then he lowers his voice. He's not just strict, Nate struggles for the right word, then in a voice barely above a whisper, he says something that makes Vin's stomach turn. He makes Emily stay late. Alone, she's the only one, and he's always talking to her like she owes him something. I've seen it, man. The way she tenses up when he calls her into his office. It's not normal. Vin's muscles tense. She ever say anything about it? Nate shakes his head. No, but she doesn't have to, we all see it. Vin exhales slowly. Now he's not just dealing with a toxic boss, he's dealing with a predator, and that changes everything. Thanks for telling me, Nate. Vin pats him on the shoulder. You're a good guy. Nate gives a half smile but still looks uneasy. Vin turns, glancing back at the building. Emily is still inside, still under Calloway's control, and now Vin knows exactly what he needs to do. He's not waiting, not when he's seen this pattern before. He climbed his way up through Hollywood, dealt with his fair share of power-hungry executives who manipulated people beneath them. He knows how easy it is for a man in power to twist the system in his favor. The employees under Calloway's control aren't just uncomfortable, they're afraid, and Emily is at the center of it. Vin pushes open the glass doors and walks back inside. The restaurant has slowed down, the dinner rush winding to a close. Fewer customers, fewer witnesses. But Calloway is still there, standing near the server stations, scanning the room like he owns it. Vin's footsteps are steady as he crosses the floor. He doesn't stop at the bar. He doesn't hesitate. He goes straight for Emily. She's mid-conversation with a customer, her voice mechanical, her hands steady, but her eyes look hollow. She sees Vin approaching and tenses slightly, like she expects trouble. "Excuse me," Vin says, just loud enough for the customer to hear. "I need to speak with you for a moment." Emily blinks, confused. "I'm with a customer, sir." The woman in front of her frowns. "She's helping me right now. You can wait." But Vin keeps his eyes on Emily. It's important. And she knows. She swallows, apologizes to the customer, and steps away from the counter. Calloway notices immediately. Vin sees him straighten, eyes narrowing. He doesn't like losing control. Emily leads Vin a few steps away, fidgeting with the edge of her apron. "What can I help you with, sir?" Vin takes a slow breath. "I know what's happening." His voice is low. "You don't have to say anything. I just need you to know you're not alone." Emily flinches. For a second, just a second, she looks like she might break. But then she shakes her head, forcing a tight smile. "I don't know what you mean." Vin isn't giving up. "Calloway, the late shifts, the way he treats you, I know it's not okay." Her fingers curl into fists. Fear. That's what this is. And fear means she thinks she has no way out. "I can't," she whispers. "You can," Vin says firmly. "And you will, because I promise you he's not untouchable." Before Emily can respond, a shadow looms beside them. Rick Calloway has arrived, his expression cool but his eyes sharp with irritation. "Is there a problem here?" His voice is polite, but Vin can hear the warning in it. Vin doesn't turn to face Calloway immediately. Instead, he keeps his focus on Emily, watching how she shrinks slightly at the sound of his voice, how her fingers clench around the hem of her apron. That reaction tells Vin everything. He turns, keeping his face neutral, just having a conversation. Calloway's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Well, Emily has a job to do. She doesn't have time for private discussions. Vin catches the way Emily flinches at the word private. That's all the confirmation he needs. His stance shifts just slightly, squaring his shoulders, his presence suddenly taking up more space. "Actually," Vin says, his voice steady, "I think we should have a conversation right now." Calloway's smirk falters. "Excuse me." Vin reaches into his pocket and pulls out his wallet. He flips it open, revealing his executive ownership credentials for Torque's restaurant group. Emily gasps. The servers nearby freeze. Calloway's face drains of color. "My name is Vin Diesel," he says, his voice calm but firm. "And you and I need to talk." The restaurant falls into a stunned silence. Customers glance over, sensing that something far bigger than a simple work dispute is happening. Employees exchange wide-eyed looks. Calloway blinks rapidly, his mouth opening then closing. For the first time, the man looks nervous. "Sir, I didn't realize." "No, you didn't," Vin interrupts. "And that's the problem, isn't it?" He turns slightly, his voice shifting from ice-cold authority to something gentler as he addresses Emily. You're safe now." She stares at him as if still processing what's happening. Her lips part slightly, a shaky breath escaping. Then, for the first time that night, she stands a little taller. Calloway's discomfort is almost palpable. "Sir, I assure you there's been a misunderstanding," he stammers, trying to regain control. "If you just give me a moment." "Your office." Now, Vin cuts in, his tone leaving no room for argument. Calloway swallows hard, his confidence cracking. He turns stiffly and leads the way toward his office at the back of the restaurant. Vin follows, but before stepping inside, he turns back to Emily. "Stay here," he tells her gently. "This won't take long." Emily barely nods, her hands still trembling at her sides. As the office door closes behind them, Calloway tries again to regain his composure. He lets out a forced chuckle, shaking his head. "I have to say, sir, I didn't expect to see you here tonight. A bit unusual for the owner to visit unannounced." Vin leans forward, planting both hands on the desk. "You know what else is unusual?" he asks, his voice dangerously low. "A restaurant manager abusing his power to intimidate his employees." Calloway flinches. "I don't know what you mean," he tries. Vin's stare doesn't waver. "I know what you've been doing. I know about the late-night shifts. I know how you treat Emily. And I know you think you can get away with it." Calloway's face pales. "Sir, I assure you, I have always conducted myself professionally. If there have been any misunderstandings—" Save it, Vin snaps. He's not here for excuses. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. With a single tap, he plays back a recording. Emily's voice, raw and shaken, comes through the speaker. "If I don't do what he says, I'm gone." Then Tyler's hushed response. "You can't let him. He doesn't own you." The color drains from Calloway's face. "You should have known better," Vince says, his voice even colder now. "You've been playing this game for a long time, haven't you? Preying on employees who need their jobs the most, making them feel trapped. But let me be very clear. You just ran out of time." Calloway's hands tremble. "Please, I can explain." "No, you can't," Vin interrupts. He pulls out his phone again, this time dialing corporate HR. "You're done," he says simply. "You will never work in this industry again." Calloway sits there frozen as Vin steps toward the door. His power is gone, and Vin isn't done yet. When Vin walks back into the restaurant, the tension in the air is thick. Emily, Tyler, Nate, and the rest of the employees are waiting. Vin takes a breath, then looks directly at Emily. "He's gone," he says softly. "You're safe." Her lips part slightly, her breath catching. Disbelief, then relief. Then, for the first time that night, her shoulders relax. She lets out a slow exhale. Nate looks stunned. Other employees exchange glances, as if they're not sure whether to believe what they just witnessed. But Vin knows this isn't the end. He turns to the team. "You've all been working under someone who didn't deserve his position," he says. "That changes now." Emily wipes at her eyes, swallowing hard. What happens next? Vin gives her a small, reassuring smile. "You tell me." She stares at him, processing his words. For the first time in over a year, she feels something unfamiliar. Control. She glances at Tyler, who's still in shock, then at Nate, who gives a small, hesitant nod. They're all waiting for her to speak. Emily takes a shaky breath. "I just don't want anyone else to go through this," she admits. "Not here, not anywhere." Vin nods, and they won't. He turns to the rest of the employees. "From now on, this restaurant is under direct review. We'll be making changes. Not just replacing Calloway, but making sure no one else like him gets this kind of power again." The room is quiet, but the weight of his words settles in. Then Tyler speaks up. "Sir, I don't mean to overstep, but this isn't just about Calloway." Vin's gaze sharpens. "Go on." Tyler hesitates, but then he takes a step forward, his voice stronger now. "The way things work here, it's not just one bad manager. The pressure, the way we're treated, the fear of speaking up, it's bigger than just this restaurant." Nate nods in agreement. A lot of us feel like we have no choice but to put up with it. The second we complain, we're out of a job. Emily looks down, guilt flickering across her face. I wanted to leave so many times, she admits, but I couldn't afford to, and I thought maybe this was normal. Vin's jaw tightens. This is why he went undercover, not because of numbers, not because of performance reviews, but because the real problems are the ones hidden beneath the surface. He takes a deep breath. That stops today. Everyone watches him, waiting for what comes next. I don't just want to fix this restaurant, I want to fix the system, and I'll need your help to do that. That means transparency. That means trust. That means if something is wrong, you speak up. Emily still looks uncertain. And if we do, will anyone actually listen? Vin meets her eyes. I will. She studies him for a long moment. Then, finally, she nods, and for the first time that night she looks like she believes it. An hour later, Vin sits in his car, watching as the employees slowly lock up for the night. Emily walks out with Tyler and Nate, the three of them talking quietly. They look lighter, like the weight of the last year has finally started to lift. Vin exhales, running a hand over his face. This had been one restaurant, one manager, one location. But how many more were out there? How many employees just like Emily were afraid to speak up? How many times had he looked at a report and thought everything was fine when it wasn't? Being a leader isn't just about profit margins or efficiency. It's about people. And tonight, he's been reminded of exactly why he does this. Too often, people in power look the other way. They see employees as numbers, not human beings. But leadership isn't about control. It's about responsibility. If you ever feel trapped in a situation where someone is abusing their power, speak up. And if you see someone else struggling, don't stay silent. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person to break the cycle.